Okay, so in our previous videos, we have talked about, establishing what your goals are, time versus money, establishing what your minimum net is that you're willing to accept. And now we're going to talk about how to actually determine the fair market value of your home. Now, here's something that's very, very important to understand. You may feel that your home is worth $1 million, and to you, it may be. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't matter what you think your home is worth. It doesn't matter what I think your home is worth. What matters is what the market thinks your home is worth. And I'm going to give you an example. So let's say that you have a property that's worth on the market, the comps, which I'll tell you what those are in a second. The comps say that the house is worth $250,000. And let's say that you really think that you need to sell this house for $295,000. And let's say somebody comes through and they put an offer on that house for $295,000 because it's a beautiful home, okay? That's great. You got this offer for $295,000. As you're going through this process, if that buyer has a lender, then you're going to have a problem because the house has to appraise for the amount of the sale. Or the lender is going to or the buyer, is going to have to come up with the difference. So in this situation, the buyer would have to come up with $45,000 cash out of pocket on top of their down payment and so on to be able to purchase this home from you, or you're going to have to lower your price. So it really doesn't matter what you feel your property is worth. What matters is what the appraisal comes back, and the appraisal comes back based on what the market value is and what the comps are, and the comps are based on sales. So that's challenge number one. Now I have seen people, for example, we just did a property with a buyer, one of our buyers. There was a rehabber that bought a property. He made this thing beautiful. He way overspent on it, but he knew that he was overspending. And he actually would only accept cash offers or offers where the appraisal contingency was waived because he knew that it would not appraise for what the buyer would have to pay. And so the buyer bought the house and they came up with the money out of pocket. And that's easier to do when you're in a situation on a $250,000 house versus $290,000. But if you're getting up in the millions and the difference is hundreds of thousands, that can be very difficult. And it also limits your pool of buyers who has the cash that's able to make up that difference. So when you're determining the price of your house, you want to, especially if you need to do this quickly, you want to make sure that you price it based on fair market value. Fair market value is based on location, based on condition, and based on the comps. You cannot change location. You can change the condition. You cannot change the comps. So what's going to happen is to determine the price the price range of the house that you're trying to ask for your house. You need to look at the sold properties that are within the last 60 to 90 days that are comparable to your home. Only the sold properties. Do not look at properties that are on the market and for sale. Look at the ones that are on the market and for sale kind of as a wish list, because that's what everybody's wishing they could get. Look at the ones that are sold, because that's what the market says they're worth. So there are a couple challenges. You have to find properties that are comparable to your home, and you have to find only sold properties that are comparable to your home, and they have to have a similar location to your home. They have to be considered similar in location. We've seen houses with a couple $100,000 difference within a block or two. So you have to know your neighborhood, you have to know your area. Especially out here in Great Falls, you've got Great Falls, and then you have Sterling, and house values are different depending on which side of the border that is, because that's Fairfax County versus Loudoun County. There's a lot of details, schools, so on and so forth. So all these things go into the pricing. So when you're pricing it, you want to make sure you price it fairly. Now, there's a rule that you follow after you've priced your house and after you've put it on the market. If you go through 7 days and you have not received a showing, then you're going to say you need to realize that your house is overpriced, because people are looking at it, they're seeing the price, they're considering all these factors and the competition, and they're not even bothering to come look at it. So that's item number one. Also, if you go through 10 showings and you don't receive an offer, that's another indicator that the price is too high. If you're into a higher price point, like over $1 million, you can stretch those numbers a little more, like maybe 10 days and 15 showings. But that's a good guideline to know if your house is priced appropriately. All right, if you have any questions on that, please feel free to reach out and let me know.